Welcome to TTV News with some latest events in Tay Ninh Province. The audience on August 8th, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính, Chairman of the National Committee on Digital Transformation, chaired the committee's third session to review digital transformation results in the first 6 months of 2022, as well as determine solutions and tasks for digital transformation in the coming time.
The meeting at Tay Ninh Bridge Point was chaired by Deputy Secretary Provincial Party Committee, Chairman of the Provincial People's Committees and Head of Provincial Steering Committee for Digital Transformation, Nguyễn Thanh Ngọc. Speaking at the opening ceremony, the Prime Minister said digital transformation is an inevitable trend, an objective requirement of development, and is identified as a mandatory requirement. It helps to effectively solve the relationship between the state, the market, and the society, promoting economic growth, improving labor productivity, competitiveness, production, and business efficiency, reducing costs for the people and businesses. It also helps all levels and sectors change their methods and improve the management capacity. According to the Ministry of Information and Communications report, up to now, 60 out of 63 provinces that is nationwide directly under the central government have issued resolutions, directives, and documents on the provincial and municipal party committees on action digital transformation in 2022. The digital economy has grown tremendously. The proportion of the added value of the digital economy in GDP by the end of the first 6 months is estimated at 10.41% compared to the same period last year. The people's activities in digital environment in the first 6 months of 2022 have recorded an increase in both the number of users and the times of usage, especially in digital platforms sold and developed by Vietnam. And concluding the conference, the Prime Minister urged units and localities to raise awareness, be determined, act decisively, as well as strengthen inspection and supervision in the process of digital transformation. In particular, it is necessary to mobilize the resources for information technology infrastructure, develop and apply digital technology. The units and localities are also required to attach importance to communication work, creating support and consensus of the people and the business community.
On August 8th, the delegation of Tay Ninh Provincial People's Council Unit Number 8 consists of the head of the organizing committee of the Provincial Party Committee, the deputy head of the Economic and Budget Board of the Provincial People's Council, the deputy head of the legal department of the Provincial People's Council, together with the delegation of Tay Ninh District People's Council, had a meeting with voters in Thai Binh Commune. Delegates of the two-level People's Councils announced the results of the fourth session of the 10 Provincial People's Council and the 12 District People's Council for the 2021-2026 term. Voters in Thai Binh Commune highly agree on the session's results. They also proposed to serve the regime for the youth volunteer team participated in the period from 1983 to 1986. The local authorities have received and plans the questions raised by voters. They also committed to reflect to relevant departments and agencies for early consideration and settlement. Since early this year, the Fund for the Poor of Tay Ninh Province has mobilized over 13 billion Vietnam dong to support the people to escape poverty, contributing to achieving the goal of sustainable poverty reduction. The campaign staff for the Fund for the Poor at 3 levels in Tay Ninh Province has mobilized over 13 billion Vietnam dong, reaching 89% of the assigned target. From this fund, the Fatherland Committee at all levels have submitted poor households, near-poor households, people with extremely difficult circumstances to invest in production and social security. Specifically, they have insisted in newly building and handing over 111 Great Solidarity houses, worth a total of over 6 billion Vietnam dong for the mentioned subjects, repairing 16 houses worth over 200 million Vietnam dong, supporting medical expenses totaling over 80 million Vietnam dong for 40 poor people, awarding 337 scholarships to poor students, with an amount of nearly 200 million Vietnam dong, and supporting reading stock for 34 poor and near-poor households worth nearly 700 million Vietnam dong. Besides, the Fatherland-run Committee of Tay Ninh Province also coordinated with departments and localities to mobilize 500 million Vietnam dong to take care of orphans, disabled, and strict children in Tay Ninh Province. In order to promote internal resources among the people, the committee has launched and guided the implementation of the saving movement to focus resources in take care of the poor. Turn to other news. The audience on August 8th, Tay Ninh City Police Station coordinated with the People's Committee of Ward 2 to organize the launching ceremony of the motto Fire Safety Group of Families, point number 1 in Quarter 4.
The group consists of 10-member households led by Mr. Trần Thành Trung. It will disseminate the guidelines of the party policies and laws of the state and regulations on fire prevention, fighting and rescue, grasp the situation related to fire prevention, fighting, rescue, and timely report to the People's Committee and reward police for handling. The group will also propagate and mobilize the member household to voluntarily abide by the law on fire prevention, fighting, and rescue, implementing the fire prevention and fighting safety conditions, escape plans in case of fire incidents, firefighting and rescue when there's fire, explosion, accidents occurring in the area of the group of families. Immediately after the launch ceremony, the members of the fire safety group of families perform a hypothetical situation of firefighting occurring in the residential area under the guidance of fire prevention and fighting police team of the Tay Ninh City Police.
On August 8th, the Provincial Women's Charity Club and the Women's Union of Tay Ninh Province organized a donation of greeting cards to a female student called Nguyễn Hồng Kim Phượng, born in 2003, an orphan living in Quarter 2, Ward 1, Tay Ninh City. Despite her lonely and difficult circumstances, she always tries her best to study. Phượng is currently a third-year student, majoring in sociology at Ho Chi Minh City University of Social Science and Humanities. With a greeting card worth 22 million Vietnam dong, the Women's Charity Club wished her to have more economic conditions to complete her studies in the future. The audience, along with other loan programs, the Bank for Social Policies Tay Ninh branch has been focusing on implementing Decision Number 11, dated April 27, 2022, of the Prime Minister on providing credit to non-public preschools and primary schools affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Many preschools in the province so far have received loans, contributing to maintaining good teaching and learning work. After more than 2 years of closure due to the COVID-19 epidemic, Hạnh Phúc Private Babysitting Group in Tân Châu District has resumed its operation. However, it still faces many difficulties in upgrading facilities. So, as soon as the Bank for Social Policies Tay Ninh branch deployed the support loan package according to Decision 11 of the government, this facility has made procedures to access capital. After reopening, we also thought of some capital to upgrade facilities. Also, thanks to the capital of the Bank for Social Policies, under Decision Number 11 of the government, we have got a loan of 80 million Vietnam dong and used it to install air conditioners in classrooms and bedrooms. Hồng Ân Private Babysitting Group in Hoa Thanh Town, established in 2019, had only been in operation for 1 year before it was closed due to the impact of the pandemic. In early 2022, when it reopened, this facility has access to the Bank for Social Policies capital to invest in more equipment for teaching. Thanks to the capital of the Bank for Social Policies, we have accessed a loan of 80 million Vietnam dong. We have spent on items such as repairing facilities, purchasing medical supplies, as well as buying some more tools to serve the teaching and learning program. According to Decision Number 11, dated April 27, 2022 of the Prime Minister and the guidance of the General Director of the Bank for Social Policies, non-public preschools that meet the required conditions will be entitled to borrow up to 80 million Vietnam dong per facility and up to 200 million Vietnam dong per school for a maximum term of 36 months and interest rate of 3.3% per year. It has helped facilitate to access capital to overcome immediate difficulties and come into stable operation.
Our transaction office has advised the representative board to plan, review, and direct relevant units, specifically the Department of Education and Training, to make a list of registered preschool educational institutions in the area. Then, we have sent staff directly to these establishments to determine the loan needs and support them to carry out loan procedures.
We have worked with 14 non-public preschools, 5 of which are in need of loans. The Bank for Social Policies has met the borrowing needs of these 5 establishments. By the end of July 2022, the whole province had 37 non-public preschools having access to support loans from the Bank for Social Policies, with a total outstanding loan of 3.1 billion Vietnam dong. It can be said that this is a very human program. Preferential capital has become a life-saving for preschools, especially private ones affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. That's all for today's TTV News. Thanks for watching and see you next time.